Glenn, don't take this away from me, please.
I'm not taking. I'm just saying that the EP.
I know.
It kind of put this list a little bit.
I think you're kind of trying to take it away a little bit.
Well, oh Jesus!
Glenn and I can never be mad at each other. It's fine.
In the archives of popular music, the debut album can be attributed to a simple roll of the dice, often a modest entry, perhaps even promising. But album 2 is proof. Proof you weren't just a fluke with good hair and one catchy single. Surrounded by expectations, deadlines, and fear, most artists buckle. Some disappear entirely. And yet every so often, a phenomenon occurs. The follow-up doesn't just improve, it rewrites the legacy of the artist entirely. Today, Glen, Dave, and Jimmy examine these rare and mighty sophomore slayers. It's Top 5 Second Albums on this episode of the 5x3.
Hey, hello. Welcome to the 5x3. Appreciate you dropping by, checking out our little show today. We are doing Top 5 Second Albums, and we're very excited about it. We got some good ones today, I think. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Dave.
And Dave's going to kick things off for us today. Top 5 Second Albums. Dave, you're number 5.
Yes, number 5. But first, I want to throw out one caveat. I did not count EPs as albums.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just throwing it out there. All right, so number 5. You guys ready for a little girl power? My number 5 is Adele. 21.
Oh, yes. That's what I came across. It's a great pick.
So
nice.
This is album to me is how great art can come from great pain. She went through a massive breakup and wrote this album. And I it was a huge job. She sold 30 million records, which is just massive. And I love this record because there's so many great songs. It's bold, it's brash, it's when you listen to it, it's actually like really in your face, the way she sings. Some of the songs, Rolling in the Deep, Someone Like You, Set Fire to the Rain, Don't You Remember, is my favorite song by Adele. I think it's such a great song, great mix by Andrew Sheps. Great drums on that one, loud drums, which I love. Produced by Paul Epworth, Jim Abyss, and Rick Rubin. Mixed by Tom Elmhurst, Andrew Sheps, Ian Dowling, and Jim Abyss.
Did Andrew Sheps mix Rolling in the Deep? Is it rolling or rolling?
Rolling, I believe.
Rolling. Yes, okay.
I believe.
To get the apostrophe
Kind of get it right.
Yeah. Well, you know.
But regardless, even though there's a lot of different mixers, a lot of different producers, is cohesive, which I think is kind of hard to do with that many different people working on it.
Yeah.
But I think that because the common thread is her and her songwriting, her voice, her performance. Her performances on this record are just
ferocious,
top notch. They're
ferocious.
So good. Yeah.
Set Fire to the Rain still gives me, it's another one of those songs, gives me chills every time I hear it. Like if you put it on right now, I get the chills.
Yeah.
She's feeling it.
Yeah, that's how I
real.
feel about Don't You Remember, which is basically just like a kind of simple country song, but is so amazing. And, I think it came at a perfect time for her, obviously, and for like the listeners. Like people were ready for this. It was very real. It was very raw. It wasn't overly processed. It wasn't overly produced. And Paul Epworth, I think he's a great producer. So 21, and amazing that she wrote this. I mean, if I think that's true that she wrote it when she was 21, because that's how she names her albums.
19 was her first one.
Someone so young to write something that kind of sophisticated and emotionally, and also I think the thing about her is she's very emotional but so relatable. That's why I think she was so successful with this album. It was so relatable to so many people.
Yeah, super cool. So just super cool. She's like someone you just like, man, like to hang out with her and just have a couple beers and just shoot the breeze, because she just seems like a really cool person. Wow, Dave came to win with that one. Glenn, good luck.
Okay, my number 5 is Gold Frap Black Cherry.
Nice. Beautiful.
There's a common thread with some of these second albums on my list where there was a transformation that happened. And in this case, with Gold Frap, this album was quite a departure from the first album. The first album, Felt Mountain, it was more of a ambient sort of sound, really atmospheric. And then Black Cherry comes along, and that's what pushed me just deep into being a Gold Frap fan. Because now all of a sudden we've got like just edgy synthesizers. There's a dance element to it. I've come to discover with this duo.
That's right. We had
duo.
We had this duo conversation on the last episode, folks.
Okay.
They do change it up from album to album. It's a thing, but there are some patterns, and they do revisit some styles through the course of their career. But this was the start of it for me. So it wasn't necessarily my entry point, but it was the entry point that stuck and made me continue buying their records.
It was a big shift from the first record. I had the first record.
It's a big shift.
And it was when this came out, I was like, oh, this is a whole new thing. These are like different kinds. You know, it's like the other one was like a cool vibe, chill out, kind of like just put it on at night, lights low, a glass of wine, whatever. This was like, this is like, okay, we're getting on the dance floor. We're going to cut a rug.
This is synth pop with an edge.
I had Black Cherry on my wall right here for top female fronted bands, but then Glenn told us that it was a duo.
Right? Disqualified.
And they were disqualified, so I had to take them off my wall. So
well,
now
it's this
ripped down from the wall.
It's Allison Goldfrapp and Will Gregory. That is Goldfrapp.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Nice. Goldfrapp, number 5 for Glenn. That is a fantastic pick. And my number 5 is from Boston, guys.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, I have a Boston. Any Boston on it? Well, I won't ask. I don't want to give anything away. If there's any Boston on you guys' list. But this is a Boston band on the 4AD label. And this was basically the schematics for 90s alternative. This was basically the playbook, the instruction manual. Everyone from, all the bigs, Nirvana, whoever, they cite this record as, we want our song to sound like that. We want it to sound, and it Smells Like Teen Spirit was written he said, I was trying to write a Pixies song. So this is their sophomore effort, and it was quite an effort. Doolittle, which has some really interesting stories behind it as well. With Gil Norton, the producer, they went at it quite a bit, then he ended up continuing to do all their records. I think he might still be doing their records, he wanted their songs to be longer. But their whole thing is, I think
the producer wanted songs to be longer?
Because they were all under like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then so
that's unusual.
Black Francis had to take, right? So he took him to a record store and he got like a Bill Haley and the Comets record or something. He said, look at this record. And all the songs were like 2 minutes long. Yeah. And he's like, those are all hit songs. You all know those songs, right?
Yeah.
So Gil sort of gave up and said, okay, all right, fine. So I think there's like 7 or 9 or something of the tracks on there, like 2 minutes long on the album.
I love that though. That's how I like my albums.
Economical.
Short tunes, 30-minute album. How long is that
Boris,
album?
get to the chorus. Yeah. I don't need your middle 8. Anyway, nothing wrong with a good middle 8, but these are tight, 2 minutes and you're in, you're out. And the other thing about their sound, which when I listen to their albums, I don't know, I guess I'm not listening and thinking like, oh, they do this thing. But the thing they do, and I guess it gets talked about quite a bit, is that they do the quiet, loud thing. Quiet, loud, quiet, loud, quiet, loud. So they bring it down and it's just, kind of bass and drums. And then it's like full on, and that's kind of how Cobain arrived at Smells Like Teen Spirit. Same kind of thing, right? It was like super loud. And then it was just like in the verses, it's just that drippy guitar and the bass and whatever. But anyway, the debut was Surfer Rosa. This was produced, like I said, by Gil Norton, mixed by Steven Hagler. Didn't know, he didn't see a whole lot of other stuff that he had done, but it's a great sounding record. It's a really, it still stands up. It still sounds really good. And there's just so many great songs on it. And that's my number 5, Pixies, Doolittle. All right. And back to Dave for your number 4.
Number 4. Okay. One of the preeminent singer, songwriter, piano player, artists of the past 30, 40 years. This is 1973, Billy Joel, Piano Man.
Nice.
Solidified himself as like, I mean, first of all, Piano Man's on it. He wrote a song for a lifetime. Like, he wrote a forever song that will, that will survive forever. And
that's the only thing he ever had to write, and he'd be in the songwriting Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. I know.
It's like writing Happy Birthday,
Yeah, I know. But it's got some other great songs. You're Captain Jack, You're My Home, Billy the Kid, produced by Michael Stewart. I just think the thing about Billy Joel, he's so great at just like kind of creating characters. He writes like stories, which I think is just awesome. And he paints a picture, and he's like vignettes of people going through their lives. And he's just so good at it. And he's also got this like New York touch of Broadway sort of thing in his songs. Like he could, I'm surprised he hasn't written like a Broadway show, because I think he'd actually be really good at that.
I think it's probably best he didn't write a Broadway.
Well, I mean,
musical.
I think maybe probably, but
I'm kind of thankful he didn't.
With Phil Collins?
Well, and John.
Things go sideways with the Broadway musicals, I think. I don't know.
Yes, but
or not,
I think he had. I think his songs are like they have that touch of it in there. I don't know.
They do.
But
just right. It's just right.
There's not too much, Yeah. And I just listening to Billy Joel just makes me feel good.
It really
he's just fun to listen to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's great. I think that's a great point about his songs. They are like, it's like his songs start out like they're books. Like he writes a book. Yeah. And then he goes, oh, well, maybe I'll cut this into chapters and make those songs. But they're stories, you know? They're really like, they got the characters. I guess that track is autobiographical. That's probably obvious, I guess, but I just read that the other day.
A lot of songs are very, there's verse, chorus. A lot of his songs are kind of linear. Like it just continues, I mean, he does have choruses, but like the story keeps going on and on. He doesn't necessarily revisit things a lot, All right, Glenn, your number 4.
My number 4 is Dokken Tooth and Nail.
Oh,
yes. And Dokken has arrived.
Dokken has finally arrived. So let's flip it around. Let's get a good look. Let's get a good look at the fellas.
There's the fellas.
I do like the Aria Pro 2 that George is playing there.
Seriously.
So such a fantastic 80s photo.
Before the sponsorships.
I thought about this one a bit because technically speaking, Dokken's first album was conceived as a solo album for Don Dokken. There's a version of it that came out in Europe, a German pressing and a French pressing. And then the Elektra release here has re-recorded some stuff and remixed some stuff, and it was rebranded as Dokken. That is the first album. So this, I was confident in saying, okay, this is a true second album.
I think so.
And this was my entry point for Dokken. I went back and got Breaking the Chains, which actually, when it was first came out, it was called Breakin' the Chains.
Are we talking about another apostrophe here?
And then they changed it to Breaking the Chains.
Oh.
They didn't like the wow.
So anyway,
why did that change?
I'm not sure.
Someone just said I can't handle the apostrophe, the breaking. Like breaking was like had become like break dancing. That was breaking.
Maybe.
So they're like, no, we got to be breaking.
Oh yeah, perhaps.
Possible.
Didn't want to confuse it as a breakdance record.
Possible.
Anyway, Tooth and Nail. This was a turning point for Dokken. This is the arrival of Jeff Pilson. This is when the classic lineup was solidified, and Jeff had a hand in songwriting. He had incredible background vocals. He's far more than a bass player. And it shows on this album. And I just think this is when Dokken truly became Dokken.
Jeff now he was maybe still is with Foreigner,
Yes.
right?
Still with Foreigner.
He's still with Foreigner, right?
Yep.
Okay, and he's been with him for a long time now, right?
A long time. I mean, he's like he's the longest standing bass player that they've ever had.
Yeah.
And he's also the music director. So
Yeah, I was
gonna-
again,
just
Jeff
a
is
very-
always more than a bass player.
Very
Yeah.
talented guy. 100%.
And a friend of yours. He's a nice,
And a friend.
nice fellow, right?
I had the pleasure of being in a band with Jeff Pilson
Underground
that
Moon.
no one knows about.
Yeah, Underground Moon. I
He's
saw
very
him. I saw you
Underground
guys
Moon.
at the Mint, right? The Mint.
Yeah.
Was it the Mint?
I think you were at the Mint.
Yeah, there was a handful of shows. I know we did you go to the Troubadour? That was my favorite show.
I didn't see the Troubadour show. I think it was the Mint that I saw.
okay.
No, sorry, 14 Below.
14 Below.
Oh,
That's where I saw
maybe
it.
that.
one.
Santa
14
Monica.
Below.
Santa
Yeah, then we
Monica,
did one
yeah.
in San Diego.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I mean, the idea was we were going to go tour Japan and Europe for that album that Jeff did with his buddy Tommy Henriksen. Very modern metal, kind of filter-like, band.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That was cool.
a little story here with this album, and this is according to Jeff. There's different sides to the story of the making of Tooth and Nail. It was very dramatic at times. So it's produced by Tom Werman. It's engineered by Jeff Workman. And it was originally mixed by Jeff Workman. However, the band was not happy with that mix, and it was remixed by Michael Wagner under the supervision of Roy Thomas Baker. And that's what we hear on the album.
The
But there
final
is-
mix of that record
is Michael Wagner, yeah.
with Roy Thomas Baker hanging out.
Well, Roy
giving-
Thomas Baker was associated with Elektra. He was like the overseeing.
Oh, that's right. He did that stint as like the head
so it was
A&R
under
guy or
his
something. Didn't he?
supervision.
He gave notes.
He gave notes because what happened was
see.
Werman had left the project by the time they went to mix.
I see.
Too much drama. There was stuff with Don and George, and ultimately, without getting into all the details, there's actually a great interview with Jeff on. I don't know if you guys ever listened to Full in Bloom, any of those interviews.
I think I've heard a couple, yeah.
There's a lot on YouTube
Yeah.
and whatnot. There's a great interview with Jeff specifically about making Tooth and Nail, and he reveals some info. And it's like, if I'm going to believe anybody telling stories about what really happened, it's
Right.
Jeff.
It's got to be him, right?
Right.
I always wanted to ask him stuff. We're just hanging out at band practice or whatever, or at his house. And I remember Don Dokken came to a party at Jeff's house. At this point, Jeff's not in Dokken. It was around shortly after he did the Rockstar movie. Don's like takes over Jeff's console area, Jeff's studio, and starts playing, Dokken demos and whatnot that Don was working on at the time. And I was like, what planet am I on right now? I'm at Jeff Pilson's house. I got Don Dokken over here, playing his demos like I would play my freaking,
Well, yeah. Also,
Playing some demo love.
for context, like,
Take him on the track.
for people listening, Glenn and I, we were Dokken worshipers back in the, when we were in junior high and high school. And then it's very surreal. I found it very surreal to sit in Glenn's living room and I look over and Jeff Pilson from Dokken is sitting there. I'm like, this is strange. This is a strange world because I loved
Totally
those
strange.
records. And
Yeah.
Tooth and Nail is it's so good. There's so many great songs on that one. Turn on the Action, Tooth and Nail, Don't Close Your Eyes,
yeah.
which is
Well, and Alone Again. I mean, come
Alone
on.
Again.
We loved Alone Again so much that when Dave and I were in 8th grade, our band Archangel played at a dance. Junior
eighth
high
grade
dance,
junior high
the
dance.
8th grade junior high dance, and we opened with Alone Again,
Yeah.
a power
'Cause it's-
ballad. We opened with it
We opened the show.
at a dance.
Well, I was gonna say, boy, that's a great dance song.
No one
Yeah.
was dancing.
and
I would think not.
I got to tell you. So Jeff was over for dinner one night. I played him the footage of us in 8th grade playing Alone
You
Again.
didn't tell me that.
It was talk about an amazing moment in my life. talk about being surreal,
Yeah, that's crazy.
He got such a kick out of it. It was so great.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
he's like, oh, you got the kick drum pattern right. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a little.
Hey, buddy, you did it, buddy.
Yeah.
See, you had video of it and everything.
Oh,
The
I've got
video's
video.
survived.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to see that.
You can see a lot of my arm in it because it's filmed like down the line, like it's not straight on. So
I got to see this. I have not
But
seen
so
that.
yeah, so this
I want to
this
see
is
the
a-
whole set.
This is I got it.
Yeah, we do.
It's an important record to me, and I think it's a second record coming in and setting the stage for the classic era of the band.
Yeah. So there we go. Tooth and nail. Glenn got docking in. It only took us what? 6 episodes or 7 episodes? But we got it. Tooth and
It'll
nail.
happen again.
It'll happen again.
There it is. All right, my number 4. We can move quickly on this one because this is a very polarizing band, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on a band that half the people are going to be like, "Oh God, how's it's a very polarizing band." But I could not put it on the list because they were massive and I personally like the record. I like their first record, but this record was a total shift. They went a completely different direction, and they did it because they were like, we want to take over the world. We want to conquer the world. We want to, you can just hear it in the sound. They knew that they had momentum. They knew, their first record was huge, especially in the UK. And this is 1995, produced by Owen Morris and Noel Gallagher. This is Oasis. What's the story? Morning Glory. And, it's just, I think it sold 22 million copies or whatever. It's just, you guys remember that time period, and people then and now either hated them or loved them, or, maybe even in between. But I mean, they're playing the Rose Bowl here soon. I mean, they still get the fans, whether they piss people off or not with the some of the dumb stuff they say. Yeah. But I don't know how much of that is an act or not. But whatever the case. Just the songs on here.
Yeah.
Just think of all the single, Roll With It, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Champagne Supernova, Cast No Shadow is a fantastic song. He wrote that at the very end, on the subway or something, kind of a last second throw in there. But anyway, yeah, we don't have to spend tons of time on that. It was just a massive, massive record.
It was a time when Britpop was kind of all the rage. LA had this kind of turning point with what was going on.
Yeah,
and there was a big influence on the clubs in town.
Yeah, they became the biggest band in the world for a little while there. I mean, they were there.
The biggest stadiums. I mean, they'd have to do a couple nights.
And
the biggest stadiums around.
I still like those tunes. They're great tunes. They've stood up.
Yeah,
I think so. Especially
I love them. They're just you guys. I mean, sure, you guys know people who hate them. They just want to hate it. They're one of those bands that's just very polarizing.
Yeah, but you can't. I feel like that's not really necessarily warranted. It's just like they just want to not like them for some reason, and you're like, but listen to the songs. Like they're kind of undeniable songs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, they're good. There's some pretty good stories about that too, but I won't go too deep into that. So that is my number 4. Back to Dave. Wow us with your number 3.
I gotta wow you.
Gotta wow us.
I still think it's weird that this album came out in the 60s, which I don't really. I guess is
wow. We have a 60s.
Is this our first 60s entry?
The tail end of the 60s, 1969.
Wow.
This is Led Zeppelin 2.
Ooh.
Is the 60s.
So I think this opens up.
Is that a Bob Ludwig Hot Master?
Probably. I don't know. But, I always loved the fact that Jimmy Page produced them. It was his kind of show. The first time came out and it was like, what is this? I always thought of like, imagine you're a teenager in 1968 or 69 when that first record came out. And you put on the first record and Good Times, Bad Times starts. It's like in Bottom's drums. You're just like, what the hell is this? And then they came out with Led Zeppelin 2, Whole Lot of Love.
That thing's pretty loaded.
What should not be Heartbreaker, Live in Love and Made, which I love. I love John Paul Jones on that song. He is so good on that song. Ramble On. Just iconic tunes. And from your second album, and they're just churning. I mean, I'm pretty sure the first one came out in 69 too. They're just churning these out.
Yeah.
And
well, back when bands did that.
yeah,
You know?
like they just kept doing
Couple
it. They
albums
just kept-
a year.
Exactly, exactly. And, mixed, engineered, mixed. There's a few different people, but Andy Johns and Eddie Kramer. Super creative, whole lot of love. It's kind of the famous the middle section there where they flip the tape over and record the reverb, and that's why you hear Robert Plant singing before he sings. I think Jimmy Page was very creative in the way he produced. I mean, he did things that other people weren't doing. And it shows, and just the band themselves, they kind of came up another level. It sounded great. It still sounds great. Bonham's drums are thundering, and John Paul Jones, I think, is massively important to the band. The way he plays bass, his organ playing, So
yeah.
Did you guys see the most recent doc that they were involved in, becoming Led Zeppelin?
I have not watched it yet, but I've seen it.
It's on something. It's streaming on something right now.
Well, I watched it the other day.
There was another one. There was another one that was like a few years ago or something like that sounded like completely unauthorized, and I didn't know if this one was the same. But this one's
they're all in this one. They even have some new unearthed interviews with Bonham, some of that. But I was a little, just to temper expectations, I was a little underwhelmed by it because you're just so excited to see all of them sitting down, and they're doing like a proper sit down and a nice,
Oh yeah.
It looks like, Billy Corgan's set on his show, it's like a nice, super fancy living room or whatever. But they sit down and you just want to hear them talk more. You just want to hear, and so I don't know. They must have been pretty limited on how much time they would give. They'd show like, instead of showing, a minute or two of a live track, they'd play like the whole song, which was kind of cool. I mean, especially if you're a diehard Zeppelin fan, but it's like, I don't need to see the 8-minute
kind
version.
of doc, though.
Yeah.
It was a little too much of that. I think everybody, I don't know. I haven't read reviews or anything, but I was just like, I want to hear more John Paul Jones and Plant and Page talking about this stuff.
I've come to really like hearing Jimmy Page talk about them. Because like growing up, I thought he was kind of like, he had this reputation of kind of being out there and a little weird. But when you hear him talk, or like when he gives interviews, he's like super engaging and kind of like just a music nerd. There's a great documentary called "It Might Get Loud" about guitar, and he's in that. And he's fantastic. He's amazing.
That's like the Edge and right.
Yeah, and it's just like the Edge and Jack White just sit there like in awe of him, and
that's
like
a great doc.
Yeah,
that's an awesome doc. I love it.
And I just to me, he's just really interesting to hear when he talks about how he writes songs and produces them. So, yeah.
All right, Dave, going heavy with number 3. How are you going to follow it, Glenn?
Well, my number 3 is Cheap Trick in Color.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
I like the first Cheap Trick album, but I feel like In Color is when they transformed into the genre-defining power pop band that they just kept being. But again, the first album produced by Jack Douglas. This is a shift. This is the shift into Tom Werman. 2 albums for Tom Werman on my list today.
Wow, he did that record as well?
Yeah, I did In Color. Take in the cover, and then you flip it this way. And you got the back cover. They always had a great sense of humor, and it's these poor guys, but they're good with it. They're good with it.
Well, yeah, because Rick's writing all the songs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they know what's up.
Yeah.
I think this is a fantastic album. This contains my favorite Cheap Trick song of all time, which is Downed, and it's it wasn't a big single or anything, but I don't know what it is about it. It just, if I had to pick one Cheap Trick song, if I could only pick one to listen to and no others, it would be Downed. Wow. But then this album also contains some of my other favorites: Oh Caroline, Southern Girls. I mean, and it opens with Hello There, and it closes with So Good to See You. They had a knack for putting together an album, and I think Tom Werman had a lot to do with it. There's some controversy here with this album because I was reading, and I had totally forgotten about this. I think it was in 1997, they went to re-record this album with Steve Albini.
What?
It's never officially surfaced. And from what I read, it was like they wanted him to make the version of this album that they intended to have.
Interesting.
Whatever the case, I love it this way. Now, and that is despite the inferior, I will say, version of I Want You to Want Me.
Gonna say, are we gonna talk about that?
We have to talk about it.
We got to talk about I Want You to Want Me studio version first, because it might be the only song where the live version beats it.
The live version absolutely beats it,
does,
which is interesting because that's Jack Douglas on the live version. So anyway, when this came out, obviously no one's heard the live version yet because it doesn't exist yet. Right. And it's still a good song. You can't deny the song, right? But the energy of the live performance is where it was just captured correctly.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to discount this one. I mean, I will say it is inferior to the live version, but
it just sounds kind of wimpy poppy.
I have a very clear memory of when I heard it for the first time.
I do
always remember where he was.
Yes,
I was like, "What is this?" I thought it was an
Seriously.
imposter. I thought it was like a fake band.
I
What did
couldn't believe
they
it.
redo it? What's that? Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
I didn't believe it was them. I did not believe it was them.
Yeah.
Because
It was
I remember
so
the first time I
classic.
heard it was like on some weird CD, and it was like, it looked like it could have been some weird bootleg or something. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is just some cover band or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, this is actually them.
Yeah. So after I had at in the let's say mid '80s, I had Live at Budokan on cassette, and in 1987, in a friend's garage in North Carolina, his older brother, who was like the coolest dude, you know who I'm talking about, Dave.
Randy.
Cool older brother Randy, always cranking, the Van Halen and like this guy. So he's like doing in the garage and he's got this out. He's got In Color on, and I'm like, oh, cool. And I've never heard this album. My only cheat trick at that time was literally Live at Budokan. It gets to I Want You to Want Me, and I just was like, but
What is this? Yeah.
Like, what are you listening
I
to,
loved
dude?
the tune so much.
Yeah.
It was, But see, it doesn't change how I feel about this album. There's not a clunker on this album. Every single tune is awesome and it sounds great. Tom Werman knows what he's doing. I met Tom Werman at the Dragonfly in Hollywood.
You met Tom Werman there?
I was doing it was a heavy metal night at the Dragonfly, and me and my buddy Arturo were the DJs, and we're playing like all kind of Halloween and Rat and just all kinds of stuff. Can you imagine just cranking metal tunes at the
sounds
Dragonfly? It was awesome, and Tom Werman, he was friends with someone affiliated with the night, and he showed up. It's a metal night, and had a nice chat with him. At the time, I think he was looking to open up a sandwich shop. I think that's what he said. Cheap Trick, Motley Crue, Twisted Sister, Dokken, and all the
things.
records that he's had his hand on were freaking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that record, apparently, I was just looking at. Apparently, a rough mix of the album of that Albini version was leaked.
Of the Albini, it was leaked
on the internet. Yeah.
Like
I think a track from it appeared in Rock Band. And it was kind of an indicator that, wait, maybe they did finish this album.
So they re-recorded everything, or he was just going to remix it?
No, they re-recorded
don't we
everything.
Don't we all know what happens when you go back and try to re-record something? It's just
you can't do it.
It's all bad. Ask Ozzy.
This is 77, so 20 years later, they're like, let's re-record this.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Oh, it just doesn't, it just can't,
never works.
it's been out there too long. You can't, it becomes what it is.
Yeah.
You do something else and it's just, I don't know, cover record, I guess. All right, Glen's number 3, Cheap Trick, In Color. Thank you for that one. It's up to me to wrap up number 3. And I'm going to go to 1985 here, coming off of the album The Hurting, which is a fantastic record, but then they decided to take over the world. And this is Songs from the Big Chair. 1985, produced by Chris Hughes, who was the drummer in Adam and the Ants. And he also produced the first couple Adam and the Ants records, Prince Charming and Kings of the Wild Frontier, and ended up, well, and he did The Hurting for Tears for Fears, which, again, a very different record for anyone who's not familiar with The Hurting. Awesome record. I love it, probably even more than this record, but it's dark, introspective, very different than this. This was like, they were listening to a lot of, I was reading, they were listening to a lot of prog rock, actually, before they made this record. And so, obviously there's the different time signatures and stuff like that. I think Everybody Wants to Rule the World's like 12/8 or something like that. That song in particular, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, very different. And how it came about was Roland, he was just playing these two chords on his guitar. And Chris Hughes was like, I just really like those, man. We got to do something. Just those two chords. How do you just play two chords and you get someone's attention? And it probably was that dun, dun. I would imagine just probably those two chords. Dun. So Roland reluctantly did, start developing it. And it was this song called Everybody Wants to Go to War was the name of it. And that's how he originally sang it. And, probably probably turned out better that they changed it, and he ended up changing it based on a Clash lyric from a Clash song, Charlie Don't Surf. There's a line in there that says, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And so Joe Strummer came up to Roland Orzabal and says, hey, you owe me a $5 for that. I know you're today. Roland Orzabal reached in his pocket and gave him a $5 because he's like, yep, I nicked it, man. And so there's that. And then, of course, they also hugely, we talked about Mel Gaynor before, Dave. You picked him as one of your drumfill drummers and from Simple Minds. And they really, if you go back and listen to, this is a great song too. There's a couple versions of it, but the version that starts out of Simple Minds Waterfront, it starts out with the bass player just hanging on D. He's just going dun, 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 dun. And that's where Kurt Smith was like, taking that, gonna take that, and then they ended up with the shuffle, and so, which they'd never done before, and Roland was weirded out by, because they're like, we're not like, shuffle, that's really not us. We do this sort of stiff electronic, like coming off of The Hurting, it was like, and it all came together. And apparently the story is he was very unimpressed, Roland was by the whole thing, and it ended up being such a massive
hit. Yeah.
Massive song, it still is. I think it might be bigger. What was it, last year or something? That song like blew up again. It was all over the place, everywhere.
It's a brilliant song. It's a really brilliant song.
It's great. So, and then you had, Shout was just massive. They spent months working on that track, apparently. Chris Hughes in particular. The Working Hour, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Mother's Talk is a great song. I Believe, beautiful. Head Over Heels. I mean, the whole thing's just
Head
like,
Over Heels is great.
That's my number 3. And back to Dave for number 2.
Okay, number 2. Producers, one of my all-time favorite, Neil Kernon, 1986. This is Rage for Order by Queensryche.
Nice.
This album. This is the what. This
I
is
see what's happening here.
This is the one.
The EP.
This is the one. Yeah. This is the one where I discounted the EP. I said I can't do it. I'm discounting it.
Okay.
It'll be allowed.
This is such a great album. It's futuristic. It's progressive. It's pretty in the weirdest way. I just love the way they made it. Somehow they made it sound cold. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's very stark, and like there's synths, there's great guitar playing. This is Jeff Tate at his absolute peak in this on this record. I mean, there's no other singer that could have made this record with them. Just Walk in the Shadows, The Whisper, Gonna Get Close to You, which is a cover tune, but it's a great cover tune. New Rigel, The Killing Words, not one that people know that much, but I think maybe one of the best B sections I've ever heard in music. This maybe is a clue that how much I love this record.
Yeah.
It's just all around great. The drumming, the guitar playing, the way that Michael Wilton and Krista Garmo play guitar together, their guitar sounds, their clean sounds are amazing on this record. I think Neil Kernon just knocked it out of the park on this one.
He did.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
He is incredible.
And arguably, I mean, in my opinion, Walk in the Shadows is the greatest Queensryche song of all time.
That is debatable, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I know. That's just how I feel.
We could talk about that for a long time. We could have a beer and talk about that for a long time. But I'm not going to.
That album, we both agree that it is the quintessential Queensryche album.
Yes. If you wanted to say what is Queensryche, you listen to Rage for Order.
Yes.
And some people we know would disagree,
Really?
But that's okay.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were more Operation Mindcrime.
I love Operation Mindcrime. I think I said this on another show. I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah,
but it's not quite as good as Rage for Order.
Yeah, there's just something about Rage for Order that just that says I don't know. I feel like the communication to us from Queensryche is more direct.
And it's also like it's weird, but also really good songwriting. I don't know how to describe it that much. And it's just
the sound of it.
The sound of it. I don't know how.
You say it's cold, but at the same time, it has a nice punch. And
it's very punchy.
But it
feels stark and just. It almost feels minimalist, but it's not. I don't know how to describe this.
I agree with that. It does feel minimalist.
I think that's
it is just well produced.
Yeah, I think that just goes, like I said, Neil Kernon. It's almost like the perfect produced album for the band. A guy meeting a band at the right and making a record at the right time. The two of them knew how to do this record together.
Just like he knew how to do H2O for Hall & Oates.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what the band is, Neil Kernon figures out what they are and gets an amazing album out of them.
I think he's like a genius, you know?
Yeah. Even the Autograph album, it's not the album that Rage for Order is, but the songs that landed and the sound of it.
Did he do the Romantics too?
I think he mixed that Romantics album.
Okay. Yeah. But still great sounding.
Yeah. And Dokken, he worked with Dokken.
He did Wow, Dexy's Midnight Runners. He was all over the place. Right. Kansas, Autograph.
I'm a huge Neil Kernon fan. And Glenn, I guess you could say maybe Walk in the Shadows, maybe for Tate, if you want to introduce someone to Jeff Tate, like play that song.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's very accessible too.
No, yeah,
I mean,
100%.
You know,
Dave, that's one of your favorite records of all time. That's your number 2. What's going on at number 1? I don't know if we can wait. I think we're just going to have to.
Number 1 was a late ad because I think it was last night. It hit me like right between the eyes, and I went, "Oh my god, this is it."
That's right. Your number 1 was a late ad.
Yeah, I went. It was like okay. And I mean, Rage for Order. I love it. Number 1 shaped my life, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, Glenn, follow that if you dare.
Damn it. My number 2 is Fiona Apple, When the Pawn.
Yeah.
I'm not going to recite the poem. The name of the album is actually a poem, and I'm not going to recite it. But the shorthand here is When the Pawn ... So this is 1999. This is produced by John Bryan, mixed by Rich Costi, who has become one of my favorite mixers. And I got to say, Fast as You Can, off of this album, is the song that I play on whatever. If I'm checking out a stereo system, a sound system of any kind, this is the first thing I play as Fast as You Can. I loved the first Fiona Apple album, but I felt like it wasn't super cohesive. But this album is, I feel like when things really, really came together in a nice package, really felt like an album, outstanding musicianship on it. I think Fiona Apple is an artistic genius. I really do. Every now and then there's an artist that is so much of an artist that you kind of can't believe. It's almost intimidating in a way.
Yeah.
I think it's her best album.
It's almost like she speaks another, even though she's speaking English, it's like she's speaking another language. When I hear her records, it's like she's on another plane, she's on another, there's some other thing going on that like you have to sit and really critically listen to try to understand everything that's going on.
Yeah,
like there's a lot.
It's highly intelligent.
Yeah. Yes. It's like it's above my pay grade, to be honest with you.
Too, Jim, like, when you were talking about Joni Mitchell and another one, it's like some people just have a different musical language. And I
Yeah.
think she's one of those people. She just she hears things differently than other people do.
Yeah.
And also John Bryan.
Yeah.
This is his production.
Yeah.
And, he had a hand in the first album as well, but he technically wasn't the producer. And the Matt Chamberlain on drums. Come on.
Oh yeah, there you go. Who he didn't produce the first one? Who produced the first one?
Andy Slater, I think, is credited as the producer.
So, but John Bryan played a bunch of stuff, and
He played some stuff.
I'll never forget when her first record came out, she played a K-Rock show, and I was working there at the time backstage, and Dave Navarro had gone and cut his finger or something intentionally and wrote in blood on her dressing room door, "I love you, Fiona." Dave Navarro, and it became this big news thing because it was like, oh, Dave Navarro cuts himself and writes in blood on Fiona's door or whatever. But that was her initial. She had just started, and I think she was pretty freaked out. She's like, "What is it?"
I imagine that didn't sit very well with her.
I don't want that.
No, I don't think she. I don't think she looked
That's
at it
not
as
how you impress Fiona Apple.
No,
Not
at all.
No. Anyway, Fiona Apple, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Win the pawn. ...
Well, at the end in the titles, Glenn, you'll put the whole title.
I debated about reciting it. I did.
All right, Glenn, with the classy number 2. I'm going to go in a very different direction here with my number 2. I'm going like Tiger Beat, magazine. We're not talking Fiona Apple level sophisticated pop here. But although I will say this is on my list because this is a fantastic, brilliant record. And it's 1982. It was done in Air Studios in London, produced by Colin Thurston. This is Rio by Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And great cover, the Nagel.
I get
Nagel art.
I mean, I understand the Tiger Beat reference, but I don't see them as that.
No, I don't either.
No,
I don't either.
I mean, they were. I just, I know the girls were just, screaming and crazy for them when they were.
Yeah.
But they look good. They had the suits. They had the hair. They
were
had
able to do the whole thing.
They're not going to turn it down. Yeah,
they did it all. And I always assumed early on that because they were such pretty boys. I just kind of assumed that someone else, they were having session musicians in there.
Musicians, yeah.
No. But no, these guys were really good. And you think about some of these, and of course, Bernard Edwards from Chic is my favorite bass player of all time. And so John Taylor, that's his favorite. So of course I, gravitate to all these bass lines because they're just, funky and he's, taking influence from there and other places. But,
he's one of those bass players. He's like on a short list of bass players that I don't even know, like with Tony Levin and Billy Sheehan. Like I feel like he's one of those guys. Like he's his own thing, and who can touch that? Who could do it the way he does? I mean, it's so complex.
I think people didn't realize, because it's using Duran Duran.
It's like, do you guys see what's happening here? Do you understand?
Yeah, the breakdown in Rio. I mean, that bass line is ridiculous.
Well, and Andy Taylor's a great guitar player. I mean, there's some skill going on in that band.
In just the songs on here. Rio, Hungry Like the Wolf, Hold Back the Rain, Lonely in Your Nightmare. These were all, I think, singles. New Religion. Yeah. New Religion's great. Save a Prayer is on here. I mean, it's just one song. And then
such a big record.
Yeah. The coolest song on the record wasn't a single, but it became huge. The Deftones ended up making it popular. The Chauffeur.
And what's your preferred version? The U.S. or the what do you go with?
That's very controversial because the band hated that whole. That was a whole thing, but it wasn't like the record really wasn't taking off at first, and so they wanted to do these U.S. mixes, and they were like, "Hey, we want it to sound like Van Halen or something." Like not the band, the record label was like, "We want to get the rock radio, going or whatever." But it's like, I don't know. They were a pop, there was rock in their music, but
So, but you wonder, would it have worked anyways? Like, did they really need to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really. I thought I didn't get too worked up about either of the mixes. You know, I wasn't like, oh, I really don't like that mix. Or
I
whatever.
haven't done a deep dive like an A/B on that, but I do. I think I only own the U.S. version, so of course I want the other one.
Right. It's just a good pop rock record that holds up.
It's a rock band,
and there's fun, you know, they get funky. It has a little bit of everything in it. It's got, you know, they loved Bowie, they loved Yellow Magic Orchestra, they loved Roxy. You know, you hear Roxy all over their first record, this record. Anyway, they took it, ran with it, made it their own. And the other thing that I think is worth noting, real quick, is that Roger Taylor said, I saw this, which I thought was really cool. He said it was a lovely and simple record to make. He said they just literally went in and played everything. They knew all the songs, except the only one that wasn't completely arranged was the chauffeur, and that was just something Nick did by himself when he was, you know, dinking around with some electronic stuff. And they said they were all ready to go. So like, this is what we were talking about, like at the beginning, we really didn't get into, with second records. Most bands are out on the road touring their asses off on their first record, and they come off the road hungover and tired and you know, just blown out, you know, and it's hard to make a great second record. These guys were doing these tracks on the road when they were touring. They were practicing them at sound checks and working the albums up, and they were hungry. They wanted to come in, dig in. Yeah. And they said they had a great time. They said it was easy, simple. They were like, it was a lovely record to make.
There's another episode of classic albums where they do that record. Oh, yeah. It's fascinating.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's a good one.
And how is it that there are three unrelated Taylors in one band?
Popular name in England.
I guess so.
Three unrelated Taylors.
300.
So,
exactly.
All right. So, what do you think, Dave?
We're on to our number one.
Number one. It's got to be Rage for Order.
Last minute entry
at number one. The first record I ever bought with my own money. I had to have this record. 1981.
I think I have it.
Dire of a Madman.
There it is. I guessed it in my head.
The version with Ozzy on the cover.
Yeah. Dude, that's incredible. Yeah, I can see. Of course that swooped in and pushed your whole list down.
It did. It literally hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks last night. I was like, "What am I, an idiot?"
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm feeling like right now. Total idiot. Okay. The total idiot. No, that's an amazing.
I did not put it on mine because I was convinced it was going to be on both one or both of yours.
Yeah, there is not a bad song on this record. It is Randy Rhoads at his absolute peak. Just great musicianship across the board. The songs are amazing. It sounds great. It was a step up from Blizzard of Oz in terms of how it sounded, I think. The complexity of the songs they're much more complex, much better, I wouldn't say better played, but just really well done. This album meant everything to me. Like I said, I worked for the money, and I don't even know how old I was, 1981, I was 9 years old. I worked for the money to have my dad then take me to Kmart to buy this record. It's part of my life. Like every song I love. Over the Mountain, Flying High Again, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Believer. It's just every single one. Diver of a Madman, SATO. It's just Little Dolls. It's just
a perfect album.
It never stops. It's just 8 perfect songs.
Yeah.
That's my number one.
That Sharon went and tried to redo.
I want to talk about it, and I also don't want to talk about it.
We'll pretend that never happened.
No, we're not going to talk about it.
We're going to pretend that didn't happen, that they tried to re-record it.
But yeah, we were talking behind the scenes about the band in the photo, how when we bought that album, that we didn't know that's not the drummer and the bass player that we're listening to.
Yeah.
Right away. But yeah, the imagery, for me, it was like, I couldn't believe that somehow, it was kind of like Kiss. There was a combination of rock and horror that was going on that just excited the out of me. That was one of the earliest albums that I had my mom buy me.
What did your parents think about this?
Honestly, outside of Kiss records, that Diary of a Madman might be the first album, non-Kiss album that I had my mom buy for me.
Yeah.
Your parents didn't think anything of this when they saw or heard about Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah,
this is the stuff that got me thrown into parochial school.
I think my dad took issue with Ozzy, but he let me listen to whatever I wanted to listen to. My mom was fascinated by Ozzy, I think.
Huh.
You know?
My mom was
my
not.
mom listened to Ingve
My mom
on
not
her
fascinated.
free time.
Yeah. So your mom sometimes likes the stuff we like. I don't know.
Yeah.
My parents, I think they're just like, well, it's just music. Like it's art, you know. It is what it is. Like it's, you know. And plus, this was what was out there at the time, you know.
And the stories that came with it, you know, because you know all the legend,
the
legend of exactly.
I mean everything, and
which was real.
But it saw in Circus Magazine.
But even like taking all that into account about how crazy Ozzy was, these songs and the way his singing is great on it, and I think it's it's big time influenced Randy Rhoads and how he was combining metal and classical and rock and just it still surprises me how sophisticated these songs are, especially
Super
like
sophisticated.
Diary of a Madman. That song is a masterpiece of the way the time signatures, the production, the way they the outro and how they take away instruments and I guess that's also Max Norman just being a genius, you know.
Yeah, should mention Max Norman.
Yeah,
big part of this.
Like I said, that one last night hit me right between the eyes, and I said, "Oh man, how could I miss this one?" And I put it in at number 1.
Thank goodness you did.
I know, right?
Well, thank you for that, Dave. You rescued yourself at the last minute.
Yes, I did.
Can you imagine?
I would have lived it down. I would have hated myself forever.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, Glenn. You're number 1. What are you going to do now? Now that you know it wasn't on your list.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm a little disappointed in myself.
Glenn's going to have a moment here.
It's silly, but it's good though because
it's
variety. It didn't wind up on 2 lists.
Yeah,
we can give you a minute if you need to collect yourself.
I need to collect myself. The guy that just got the South Korean pressing arrive in the mail yesterday.
That's right.
Right.
He just got it.
Straight from South Korea.
Talking about it.
What's our show tomorrow? Second album?
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't even dawn on me.
Well, me neither until late last night. You know?
Yeah. What? Yeah. All right. So my number 1
is not Ozzy Osbourne.
Is Watchtower Control and Resistance.
I just blew out the mic. Did you hear that? I just popped the mic.
Wow.
I think my mic's dead.
Number 1.
Wait a minute.
No.
Can you hold those pictures up a little closer?
The pictures.
Yeah, I got to see these. Yeah, those.
Yeah,
What do we got going on here?
Okay.
Okay, so this is 1989. This is a Texas band.
Dave, have you heard of this band?
Yes, I have.
I don't think I've ever heard of this band. Well, they're called Watchtower.
Watchtower. Yep.
Watchtower.
Just Watchtower.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm all ears. This is your number 1 second album of all time. I've never heard of it. I'm ashamed of myself, I guess.
I consider Watchtower to be another genre-defining band. Call it technical thrash. You need to look no further than this album, Control and Resistance. This is the blueprint. No one's ever been able to do it the way these guys did it. To me, it's a mind-blowing album. Here's my
I thought I smelled
original
the cassette.
copy.
Heard it.
It is the most technical display of metal you could ever imagine. It's like a scientific experiment. Yet somehow the songs resonate with me. I sing along to them. This is super high pitched voice. It's that style of singing. Their first album is really cool. I really like it. Energetic Disassembly. But this album marks the entry of a new singer and a new guitar player by the name of Ron Jarzombek. Ron has a brother, Bobby, who is one of my favorite drummers of all time, Bobby Jarzambek, who played in Riot and then later on with Halford and then Sebastian Bach. And anyway, Ron, Bobby's brother, is the guitar player in Watchtower, and there's no one like him. He hasn't really branched out into other genres and whatnot. And if anything, he's gone even deeper into the rabbit hole of technical metal in a band called Spastic Inc. And there's another one called Blotted Science that he's done. So this is, it's got thrash elements, just intricate guitar work, intricate drumming. This is on Noise Records, indie metal label. It's my number one because if you were to actually look at a log of my plays, if there was such a thing to capture every time the record was put on the turntable, combine it with my Apple Music and Spotify, and how many times this cassette has been played, it would probably be so highly competitive with one of the most listened to albums of all time for me. I'm not kidding.
Wow. Yeah. So like when you say can you give an example of because thrash kind of covers, you got Anthrax is thrash. You have Metal Blade records, all the Metal Blade stuff. You have Metallica, it started out kind of thrash, considered thrash. So where do they fit in the thrash sound?
Well, they don't fit in with any of those. There's other bands that you're not going to know.
So progressive, they're like prog thrash metal.
So if you took elements of Fate's Warning, I don't know if you're familiar with Fate's Warning at all, and other bands surrounding the genre with them. Toxic is another great band that's, I would say, kind of in the same vein. Realm is another one. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Like I actually surprised myself about how much I listened to this album and how unlistenable it is to some people.
I was just gonna say,
like we joke about, bands that our wives, can't stand.
Yeah.
If I'm cranking this in the house,
it's over.
There's someone's coming to the door.
I've heard like snippets here and there, and it's pretty much that.
Yeah. But somehow,
kryptonite for the
ladies. The songs they're not traditional structures of by any means, but they've got hooks somehow for me. It's like one of those. Yeah, it's like a personal custom band designed for me. And yeah, they really landed on the second record. I love the first record, but this is the one.
These are the discoveries, No one's gonna, I kind of with my list today. The one thing I was like, oh well, gee, if we were trying to, introduce maybe some, some music that maybe some people don't know. No one's gonna go out and buy songs from the Big Chair in Rio. Like everybody already has it and knows them. So that's what's cool about this. Maybe somebody out there, exactly what you're describing, they're going, oh, that sounds like something I would like. No women, but yeah. But maybe someone will be. I know I'm going to go check them out just out of curiosity. Yeah. They're your number one second album of all time.
And I reached out to Ron, just cold emailed him, the guitar player, because there are some remasters out there of this album, and I wanted to know if he had given approval to these remasters. I wanted to know what they were. And long story short, he emailed me back. He goes, just stick with the original Noise releases. You'll be good.
This is the beauty of Glenn. He's emailing.
He goes deep.
Guitar players about if they've approved remaster.
Yeah. Is this remaster approved?
Man,
guy's like, who are you?
Base with you?
Why are you asking me this?
He responded.
I know, that's like, the gift. It's a good thing. This is the gift of Glenn. He's able to do this sort of thing.
He can do this for the rest of us too.
He talked to Tom Werman at a metal night. He just does it. It's so amazing.
Well, I did the same thing with Ron's brother, Bobby. I cold emailed him asking about some double kick techniques. And he emailed me back. And then I met him.
It's amazing.
And it was great. And I was wearing a Riot shirt when I met him. That was the best. It was from a
Did you plan it that way or
tour.
it just happened? Was it coincidence?
I don't think I knew he was coming. No,
Oh.
I don't think I knew, because I was wearing that shirt a lot back then.
Wow.
I ended up taking it off for the show, though, because that's back when I could confidently play drums without a shirt.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, as a thing.
It pays.
Shirtless drumming. I had a friend that was like, "What's up with drummers? Who else just decides to get on stage without a shirt like that?"
Lots of drummers do.
And I was like, "Yeah, well, I know that it's a drummer thing,
Right.
right?"
Yeah. You can do it as a drummer.
Yeah, and
that's
it's like,
approved.
dude, now that I think
That's
about
approved.
it, I've been doing that since I was like 12 years old. You know, like I don't know what it is. It's like a sporting activity or something.
You didn't play like battles with shirtless?
I don't know if I did full shirtless, and I did the the cut.
Full shirtless.
The cut, the barely a shirt.
What
you know?
was there? You say
Yeah.
full
remember
shirtless, like
cut
you
the
had
tank
half
tops?
shirt?
Yeah, cut the
you
tank
cut
tops,
the tank
but-
tops and the whole sides missing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did a
All
lot-
right.
we did a
I thought
lot
you were
of
talking
that.
about a midriff or something here.
I didn't have the half shirt.
No. We didn't do that.
I did have a
good,
Pyromania
good.
half shirt that never sat well with me.
Yeah, you can't half shirt it. No,
Yeah.
you can do
muscle,
the
It
sides.
was a muscle half shirt.
Yeah. A muscle half
you know what
shirt
I'm
of
talking about?
Pyromania.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a
muscle
double
shirt.
whammy. That's a double whammy.
Yeah. sleeveless half shirt.
Sleeveless muscle tee half shirt.
Gonna have to issue a fashion citation on that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Watchtower. Think of all the women rushing to the record store right now.
I'm going to crank it in the car with my wife tomorrow to see what happens.
There's a line outside of Amoeba right now. 400 women waiting to get Watchtower.
Hey.
All right, so I guess
right.
back to me for
The
my.
final,
I'm going to wrap it up
number
here.
one.
The final number one, we're talking very different than Watchtower. So hang on. So this is from 1983. Quantum leap over their first record. Their first record was their debut was called Movement, and it was dark, dreary. It was sort of the remnants and the leftovers of their prior band, Joy Division, and they were still, mourning the death of Ian Curtis. This was the second album by New Order, although this is the box set. I couldn't find my copies of the. I have them somewhere around here, but this is the box set, which I don't know. I got to open it. It has a 48-page hardbound book in it, and I still haven't opened it because I'm like doing the collector thing where I'm like, well, if you
Don't touch
open
it.
it, then it's like loses
Don't
its
touch it.
value, and
Yeah.
but then I can't enjoy it, and it's like it's a lovely looking box set. It has like
You gotta
tons.
open it.
Yeah, I got to open that one. There's too
Unless
much
you're,
good stuff in there.
You don't do the two copies. I got my copy to listen to and my copy to never open.
Yeah, I do that with records sometimes, but with box
It's a little
sets.
pricey to do that with a box set.
Yeah. When you're going box set, it's like that
I
one
got
was.
two box sets.
I remember
YOLO,
that wasn't
YOLO,
very-
Jim,
it
YOLO.
wasn't cheap. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the producer on the record was New Order. They have been producing their records, which is very impressive because this album is I didn't say it's Power, Corruption, Lies from 1983. They did have a pivotal engineer working with them named Michael Johnson, who was involved in lots of cool records. But really shaped their sound. This record, for those who are not into like the synth or like the new wave sort of early synth stuff, this had like Blue Monday. It was kind of sort of added later to it, but it was like the 12-inch came out at the time. There was a track on here called The Beach, which was like sort of like an instrumental version of that. Then they added Blue Monday later. But anyway, the whole record, every song on the record is super, super cool. It changed. It was really probably the record that bridged the divide for me, where I was listening to lots of, rock and pop music on the radio, just radio stuff. And then it was like, this was some of in 83, this was like the first stuff I was hearing that was like, what's this? I don't hear this on the radio. You don't hear this. What is this? And so it was very palatable because it had the beats, the beats sound amazing on it. And it was heavily influenced by Giorgio Moroder and Donna Summer, the whole, all I Feel Love and all that. And it's just, but they brought in the guitar, like Peter Hook had his, that classic bass sound in it. So it's this great sounding bass, that tone that he did, it's just him. No one sounds like him. Everyone just,
No one. Yeah.
yeah. I just look back on it as such an important record for a lot of reasons, but particularly important for me, they switched to this more, they embraced like this more euphoric sound in the dance floor, and it just like, hey, all right, let's have some fun, let's move on and create this new sound, which became classic New Order. And it still sounds so good, man. You put this on, you can crank it, and it just holds up, you know. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you, everybody who's still here, and thank you. And please leave your comments, your favorite second albums in the comments, so we can check them out and have some fun with that. And that's it. We'll see you next time on the 5x3. See ya.
The end is always that just like, and we're clear.
And we're clear. I know. I never know how to. I figure I'll just try to get out quick.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get.
I'm not going to say anything.
I don't want to be like, see ya.
Yeah.
You know,
Bye.
bye.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah. I'm trying to get in quick now and get out quick. You know, just like not too much jawboning.